Lonely Monk Productions. I don't know if y'all have seen Maddie's Secret yet, but yo!
That's my Jawn!
Hey, yo, displace the guilt and embrace the pleasure. You're tasting things that don't need to be measured. You ain't being judged, you won't get a score. So what the fuck is you faking? What's good, friends and family, neighbors near and far? Welcome to an all-new episode of the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast. The podcast, website, brand, movement, way of life dedicated to the embrace and championing of your passions. I'm your host, Nate Runkle, a.k.a. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, a.k.a. Nate 3.0. Back at it again with yet another episode of the podcast. As always, I hope this podcast finds you all in good health and in good spirits. On today's episode, I am joined by writer, editor, and musician Sam Sadomsky, a.k.a. The Bird Calls, for a chat about his career in music and music criticism. Sam has a new Bird Calls album coming out this Friday called Take Leave, and we talk about that and so much more. And that is coming up in a minute here. But first, this is the part of the show where I talk to you. Hello, my friends. Hope you're rounding out the summer in the bestest ways possible. We're a little low-key over here as the kid's got himself a little bit of a stomach bug going on, which is why this episode is a week late here. Yeah, whatever. Poor guy, though, he's in a bit of discomfort and, I don't know, but somehow this guy, still, this little baby, this little precious boy, happiest baby you've ever seen. It's amazing. It's truly amazing. Who go through these little bursts of discomfort, and then all of a sudden, all smiles, this kid. It's so infectious. I come home from work and this kid's beaming, and that's it, y'all. I'm down for the count. Absolutely knocked out. But, other than that, there is so much good music that has come out this summer and so much more on the horizon that I am really looking forward to. Like Sam's Bird Calls record out on Friday. The few singles that I've already heard that have been released, they sound like a complete level up. And I'm really excited to hear the rest of what he's got cooked up for this record. What am I doing? I should probably stop delaying with the chit-chat and just get to the interview already. But, before I do, are you following us on the socials at Yo, That's My Jawn? We're up on, I believe, all of them, so go ahead and give that a follow. Subscribe, rate, review, or on whatever podcast app you're on right now. Do it. Just subscribe. Thanks. You can also jump on yothat'smyjawn.com for links to all of that, as well as links to merch, guest appearances on other podcasts, and all kinds of other fun stuff. I've been doing a bunch of stuff with the Swans Crossing on Single Season Record, our pal Brian and Derek's podcast. So go check that out. And also watch Swans Crossing. Absolutely banana show. Okay, stop talking, Nate. Give these people what they came for. My guest today is a Pennsylvania-born writer, editor, and musician who records music under the name The Bird Calls. As a writer, he has been a senior editor at Pitchfork, as well as had pieces in Rolling Stone, The New York Times, The Nation, The Independent, and more. As a musician, he has released close to 30 albums and shows no signs of slowing down. His most recent, titled Take Leave, is out this Friday, August 28th, on Ruination Record Company. Folks, it is my honor to welcome to the show Sam Sadomsky. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined today by the great Sam Sadomsky. Sam, thank you for joining me on Yo, That's My Jawn.
Hey, what's up, Nate? Thanks for having me.
Super excited to have this conversation with you. I've been reading reviews and articles by you a lot, and only recently did I find out about the Bird Calls. So completely blew me away, especially looking at how prolific you've been in the past, 20 years or so.
Yeah.
It just absolutely amazes me. So I'm glad you're here to have this conversation, because I want to pick your brain about how you focus.
Yeah, definitely. I hope I can give satisfying answers about that, because sometimes I just kind of black out doing these things. Yeah.
I can see it. I just talked to Chris Ballou from Presidents of the United States of America, and he's been doing this project since, I think, 2021, where he's releasing 2 albums a year. And I asked him the same thing, and he was like, I have so much stuff that didn't make the records that I still have to go through. He's like, I'm never going to run out. And I was like, I wish, man. So I always like to start things off in the Wayback Machine. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself growing up. Where are you from?
Well, I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania. You're also a Pennsylvania guy, right?
Yeah, right outside of I'm in the Philly burbs.
Nice. Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in Philly growing up. That was like the closest big city. Although I went to Allentown a lot growing up because there was a really cool music scene there, and there was like double decker records. And there was just a lot of exciting bands coming out of there. So I've always like had a really soft spot for Allentown. But yeah, grew up in Reading. Played in bands, had music blogs from like a really young age. Then how biographical do you want this to get? I could,
Right. Yeah, no. Before we jump ahead, like,
yeah.
let's start on or stay with the music thing. How did music kind of enter your life? Like, what was your entry?
It was all like Bruce Springsteen for me. That was like the lightning bolt when I was a little kid. Like even like too young to understand what music fandom really was. Like I think it was like 5 or something, and it was the Kermit and Miss Piggy version of Dancing in the Dark that just like blew up something inside my brain. And like from that moment, I was just really obsessed with Bruce. And like the fun thing with Bruce being your like gateway drug to music is there's so much like in the universe of Springsteen that you can get into. And yeah, also my like great uncle was a DJ in Philly. Maybe it was Jerry Blavitt.
My God, yeah.
Yeah, so he was my grandmom's brother, so when I would go to Philly, I would get to, like, hang out at his studio, and, I mean, if you know him, he's, like, the most exciting person to be around,
For
and for a
sure.
kid, it was just, like it was all I wanted to do was, like, be around records, and I learned a lot about record collecting and music history from hanging out there, but yeah, like, from that moment, I was pretty much just that was, like, all I cared about in the whole world, so
No, that's amazing. Very upset, obviously, that Jerry passed because,
yeah.
one of the things is I always wanted to talk to him on this show about his Monkeys guest appearance because I'm like an
Yeah.
enormous Monkeys fan, and it's like the 6 degrees, like that's insane. Like,
Yes. No, he had such a crazy life. There's so much stuff like that that I was only finding out about after he died and people were posting it, and I was just like, the stories could go on forever. There's just so many layers, so many chapters to it.
yeah. So what came first for you, wanting to kind of be critical of music and write, or playing music?
That's a good question. I mean, it was like almost simultaneous because I asked my parents for a guitar like as soon as I got into Springsteen. But I was very impatient and I could not make the guitar sound like Bruce made a guitar sound. The other element was like in a small town, I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about music. So, like, books about Bruce Springsteen became like my like closest companion. Like I was the kid in school who just had like stacks of library books on my desk all the time. So those I could imitate more easily than like the sound of the records. And I was definitely like writing fake Springsteen books during like free time, and I still like I have some of them in my parents' house still. Um, but like that evolved too, like because at once my music taste branched out a little bit. It was a pretty exciting time to be like a music fan on the internet. It was kind of like the blog era. So, and it was really easy to start one. So I had blogs from like the time I was like 13 or so, and I'd be like interviewing bands and stuff. So, and I like started playing in bands when I was a teenager, and I guess they just sort of evolved in tandem. But I definitely like I always kind of wanted a career in writing, like as like from college on. I think that was what I pursued. I went to like grad school for it, like kind of actively trying to get better and like get published in bigger places. So yeah, it was kind of like two pursuits going at the same time, pretty much since I was a kid.
Yeah, jumping around just a little because ADD, music and music criticism and journalism in general. You picked two of the greatest careers for work right now.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, how fantastic. No, but just like as a side tangent, for the listeners, I don't know if they know or not, but big massive layoffs in the music industry with Brooklyn Vegan and alternative press and stuff like that and all. What do you see the future of music criticism becoming? Because like I feel like I can't subscribe to 30 Substacks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, that can't be the answer. It's just not sustainable. And I don't know. I wish I had a good answer to that.
yeah,
I mean, I will say, like, I'm an optimistic person at my core, maybe because I do see things trending in a good direction where it seems like the people who care about this stuff really care about it and really want to support it. And I see it firsthand as an independent musician. I also see it firsthand as a music journalist. Like every time there are these layoffs, it's just like this awful cycle to witness. And I was part of it. I got laid off at Pitchfork in 2024. Um, and so I know how it feels to just have like everything like crumble, especially like when you're kind of anticipating it. I think working in this field means sort of always knowing that it could happen, you know. It's like my friends who live in New Orleans talk about that feeling of just like it's like part of the party culture comes from the feeling of how precarious everything is. And sometimes that's maybe how it feels a little, but I do think that like the more this happens, the more people band together and support these places, and there've been some positive trends, but it is like heartbreaking every time it happens.
yeah, for sure. Like, not just music journalism, but music in general with like streaming and whatnot. Like, it's really weird to me that there is as much of a struggle right now as there is because I like kind of like you were just saying. I feel like people are more interested in music right now than they have been in quite some time. I feel like it's just been building since the pandemic, and I don't know if that was like a response of like, oh no, we almost lost this. You know what I mean? Like we almost lost this kind of communal thing that we've been into for quite some time. And like again, I same as you. I don't know what the future holds, but like I do have a little bit of optimism. But my one thing that I'm thinking, especially music, and it actually kind of probably even could go to music journalism as well, is I just feel like a return to kind of local. Like
Yes.
like to build the community and kind of build the town. It's why, like, I mean, the past 6 years, I've kind of just ingrained myself in, the Philly music scene because one, it's fucking incredible, and
Yes.
and two, it's in my backyard. You know what I mean? So, like, why go try to play in somebody else's sandbox or even try to reach somebody else's sandbox? Until you can win your own.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it definitely weeds out people who are doing this for the wrong reason, and it definitely maybe catalyzes people who are doing it because they love it and have stories they want to tell and things they want to shine a spotlight on. So, there's just a feeling like that's how I feel at least is like I didn't get into either of these things necessarily to like make a ton of money. So it's like I will find a way to do it no matter what. Um, you know, so that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I had a small music career. No, I don't even know that I'd call it a career, but I played music a lot and wrote songs. So we'll put it that way. And like every once in a while, I'd have that feeling of like, why am I doing this? And then it's like, oh, that's right, because if I don't, like, I'll probably kill myself because all this stuff will be inside and just trying to escape, and I won't be able to kind of handle it. But you go to school for writing. What was your first like major publication getting printed in?
Well, there was like a local thing. The newspaper in Reading, there was like a youth component called Voices that actually like I'm still in touch with a bunch of the people. It was like a really good roster of writers. But I would do album reviews for that, where it was basically like imitating the structure of a Pitchfork review. And I would do like concert reviews. And then I had my own little blog in high school where I like interviewed indie bands and posted stuff. And then in college, I had like an ambient music blog because that's what I was really into at the time. But in college is when I started writing for websites. And the very first one I wrote for was a site called Foxy Digitalis that was run by a guy named Brad Rose, who's awesome. And Brad's still doing Foxy Digitalis. But yeah, that was it. It was like that was like kind of an experimental music site, and I was sort of the guy who covered like Cass McCombs and like the more singer-songwriter-y kinds of things.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That time period, you kind of touched upon it earlier, like the blog era was like some of my favorite stuff for not just for like the music criticism and articles and essays, but like find music discovery was awesome back then because like I mean like even just being able to download like an MP3 of like one song from somebody I never heard of before, and then it comes up on the iPod Shuffle and you're like, wait, what was that? Like yeah,
I know, it was the best. And I feel like maybe we're like headed toward a similar environment now, like where people are into that type of thing of like really niche discovery. Because that's how it felt, you know, you would like read these blogs and you would read it because you trusted the taste of the person running it. Like it was so distant from celebrity culture, and it didn't even feel like it was a completely distinct experience from reading like Rolling Stone, which I also did at the time. And that was the fun of it. Like as a writer on those blogs, the last thing I was thinking about was like publishable writing. Like I was trying to just like express how I felt about this and like convey the excitement I felt, where it was like the most exciting thing in the world. You know, it really was a fun time, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I liken it to the whole throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Like I understand why we kind of broke down the gatekeeper system and whatnot, but and this is a horrible metaphor. I'm going to make it anyway, but we can't have like musical open borders. I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just too much.
Go on. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't mean it, that way. But like, so like I've been working on this idea of becoming a musical guidance counselor, where I'm not telling you what you need to listen to. I'm just the guy who's like, hey, here's some options if that's what you think.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. Well,
I could have used that as a kid.
Right? I know. Like it's like I just feel like there's a place for just like, hey, I know what you like, so here's something that is also like that. Instead of being like, here's the 7 albums that got sent to me the past week. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
totally. I mean, I do like now I'm seeing it from the other side a little, like putting a record out, but I'm so grateful for the blogs that exist still and like cover stuff just out of love of doing it. I mean, when like one of those like Rosie Overdrive is one of those places where it's just like so personal and so like out of the love for music discovery and sharing stuff. I know that it's like finding like a real like diamond in the rough, like the way the internet is now. I mean, especially with like AI writing and stuff.
that's brutal.
Yeah.
It's really brutal. The we on the music discovery tip, my Bruce Warren from WXPN and I used to have a music discovery show called Too Old, Too New, where we would just bring 2 old songs and 2 new songs each week. And kind of break it down and stuff like that. And that was like so much fun because of how many people would like email me like, I've never even heard of this artist and this is amazing. Thank you for turning me on to this and stuff like that. Like that feeling is just genuinely like the best feeling in the world.
It really is, and I've written a lot for Pitchfork. Like I've been there 10 years now, but and I've written about a lot of different artists, but I feel like the thing people, other than Bruce Springsteen, the thing people associate me the most with is this band, the Blue Nile, who's like from the 80s. But I wrote about hats like their second album in like 2018 as a Sunday review. And it was kind of the first thing I wrote for Pitchfork because I had mostly done like new releases where like people would be like, I never heard this album. And now it's like my favorite album. Like I still get emails about that review. And I did their other, like the album before it, I reviewed this year. And it's funny how like music criticism without an occasion that it's pegged to, like I was writing about it because I love this record and I was just trying to like explain the feeling I have when I listen to it. Like the way that connects with people is totally different than like the way like a new album review that like 6 other publications are posting on the same day. Like that's important too.
Yeah.
But I always love doing that type of writing because you have no choice but to like write from the heart, you know?
Yeah. It's one of the things that Pitchfork's been doing that I kind of have really enjoyed recently is the whole revisiting and re-rating things.
Yeah.
I know you did the Fish Sicket disc, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's another thing people bring up a lot.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, because us nerds, we're there for it, you know.
Yeah.
But you kind of touched on something that. I also wanted to kind of ask here, which is like the idea of Pitchfork has somewhat evolved, but still has kind of that harsh, I guess, background to it, right?
Yeah.
But I am somebody, and this is like, I don't mean it from like a raucous perspective or anything like that, but I am someone who like doesn't shun elitism. Like I want the best and I want people to be at the best and tell me the best. You know what I mean? Like it's always the weird thing when someone's like, oh, they're elitist. And I'm like, okay, good. So they're the elite? why are we not, why is that the problem? You know, I understand the negative connotations that people mean by it, but like, it's a weird concept to me. So like, how do you find your own voice kind of in that ecosystem?
Yeah. I mean, I feel similarly. I think I'd never find like I don't think it's cute when people don't know what they're talking about. And, like that's like the actual definition of like being pretentious is like when you like pretend that you like have a certain authority but you don't, like it's made up.
Yeah.
Like I like doing my research but I also think like what I always say about Pitchfork is like I'm very aware of like its history of being really snarky and really like antagonistic and confrontational at times. But when I was a kid and I was reading Pitchfork and it was like being mainlined into like my consciousness, I didn't even absorb any of that. I just thought, here's like a website where like all these people are as excited as I am about music and treating it like it's the most important thing in the world. And they know stuff I don't know. So it's like, I think back, and it's not like I would be upset like when Magic by Bruce Springsteen got like a 6 point something, even though I loved it at the time. I would be more like, well, here's what someone who, you know, like loves like, I don't know, like Animal Collective, who I also loved, but like who thinks that is like the pinnacle of what's being made right now, thinks about like, you know, this Bruce Springsteen record in 2007. Like it was a perspective that I wanted. So I try to write for that audience. Like I remember what it was like to be a kid who loved music and didn't have people in a community to talk to about it. And so I wanted to recreate that feeling on the internet. And to me, that's like one of the most like enduring purposes of music journalism. Like I'm not saying it's just for kids. Increasingly, like the audience is people my age and older and stuff. But I just think like that is like I'm that way. You know, like I need that. You know, so I imagine there's other people who do as well. And so I try also not to take for granted my stature there, like that I've been there for a long time and that I'm like a senior editor at the publication, where it's like there's so much stuff I'd rather read someone else on than do it myself. Like I want to make sure my authority is coming from a place of actually knowing what I'm talking about and having an interesting perspective on it, and not just because I am in this position of writing about music. You know, I think I try not to take that for granted.
Yeah, definitely. It comes across as such. Like, what I've read of your writing, I've really enjoyed, and you mostly because, like, kind of like you were saying, like, your stuff. You don't. It is very um, damning to read somebody who, like, you can tell, like, probably didn't even listen to what they're reviewing, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like, which kind of is a great segue into what I wanted to ask, which is like, how many times are you listening to something before you do a review? So, like, for example, you just did the latest Phoebe Bridgers album, right?
Yeah.
Like what kind of time are you dedicating to that before being able to sit down and say, "All right, I think I got an idea."
It's sort of case by case. I mean, with the Phoebe record, I listened to it a lot because I really liked it. And it also, I thought, necessitated multiple listens. It was really long, and the structure of it was really odd. And the lyrics were very, um, like, uh, elliptical. Like, something that's interesting to me about that record is there's been a lot of writing about it, and almost every writer has a different interpretation of what the record is about and what the songs are describing. And I sensed that when I was listening, that where I was like, this is doing something that is asking for deep listening and deep thinking, and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Like there's a part of my brain that lights up when I feel that in art. So that one I listened to a lot and I spent a lot of time with, and like, I like kind of had high standards for how I wanted to approach it, which I don't know if I totally met in my estimation, but I'm happy with what I wrote. But then there's other stuff where it's like, um, the review is I'm trying to be. It's like my standard isn't like to be so definitive about it. Like another record I wrote about this year is Indigo Park by Bruce Hornsby, which is a record I love and I was surprised by and impressed by. And I feel like what I was trying to capture in the review was how surprising and impressive that record is, not necessarily like living inside the record and showing you around it, although maybe that was the effect the review conjured for some people. So, I mean, it's really like case by case. Like, I try not to make a science out of it, and I try to like feel it out and like not drive myself crazy, but
Yeah.
do something that suits how I feel about the piece
Yeah,
of
I mean,
music.
that's the other reason I like the kind of throwback revisited thing, because I do think there's a tendency at times for what I like to call the firsties. Like because the way that culture is discussed now, you have the weekend, maybe, and everybody has moved on by the next week or whatnot. So, like, I appreciate kind of when you can read that someone spent time with something and didn't just kind of like, I need to hit this by Friday morning.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also another element is that I just do stuff really fast. Like once I'm writing, I tend to like start and finish in the same sitting. Like I'm just kind of that way with everything. So it's like a lot of the work is subconscious before I actually sit down to write it. It's just like thinking a lot. So it's hard to like quantify how much time I'm spending on any given thing.
Yeah. So when do you start doing the bird calls? Like, when does that kick off?
Uh Well, the first time I used the name was probably in like 2006. I played in a band when I was a kid, and it started to become like weirdly taxing. Like we played a lot of shows out of town, and we're traveling a lot. And it was eating up a lot of my time. And it was like a rock band, basically, very much in the style of like Jet and like sort of like rock revival bands in the 2000s. And around like the mid 2000s when I had like started my blog and stuff, I was getting into like more indie stuff. So at first, the Bird Calls was basically just like my place for making weird singer-songwriter music inspired by what I was listening to at the time. And also just like exploring like all the audio recording software that came preloaded on Mac computers back then.
Yeah.
Um, I had always like made music, and I was like just like addicted to the feeling of like like finishing stuff. Like I would just like write track lists and like design CDs and stuff like that, and just like like record 12 different weird songs I made up. But when I started like writing songs and singing and putting together albums of that the Bird Calls was the name I used, and it kind of just stuck all through high school. College is kind of when I started like meeting other musicians and playing shows, and people took it seriously and would ask me to like join their bill in Syracuse, which is where I went to college. But I actually like kind of only start counting stuff as being official around when I moved to like New York, and I think like figured out more what I wanted to say and met other musicians who were like a little more in the world I wanted to operate in. But there's been a lot of Bird Calls like albums.
There
with,
sure
like,
has
around albums. Yeah.
Yeah, the Bandcamp page is loaded.
Yeah, and that's only some of it. I'm like always kind of taking stuff down and like pruning it a little bit. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So like, you obviously have done collaborations and stuff like that, but primarily doing stuff on your own. Do you just not like other people, or is it?
I mean, yes. Like I definitely started it to just do stuff on my own and have like complete control over it, and just every weird idea I had to like filter through it. But also I think it took me a really long time to find musicians that I felt like on the same page as. Like I have a lot of musician friends, and I have had a lot of musician friends, but it kind of took until I met like the crew I'm friends with now, like with like Ruination Records, which is like the label I put stuff out on. Like people who had similar influences and similar ambitions, and some of them were even music writers who also had musical projects, like Winston Cook Wilson, who has a band called Office Culture that was really important to me. But even now, it's like I make records with just one person, and it's like the second consecutive record where we had an idea to like assemble a band and like bring people in, and we didn't do it because we just wanted to keep it between the two of us playing all the instruments. So it's like a work in progress. Yeah.
Yeah. I've over the weekend been sitting a lot with Memory Trail, and like first of all, it's a great album. Absolutely
Thank
great
you.
album. But I got to ask if somebody is an influence at all, because I got a lot of it from it in the best ways possible. Anything from Jay Bennett in there? Any influence?
Oh, he was in Wilco, right?
He was, yeah. But he had like
Yeah.
a solo thing after they kicked him out of the band. And that's kind of what like hits for me. I don't know.
You know, I've never listened to his solo stuff, but I really should.
Yeah, it's good. There's actually a documentary about him called Where Are You, Jay Bennett? And it's the perfect yang to the yin that is I'm Going to Break Your Heart, the Wilco doc, because it's all kind of around the same time and whatnot. But it comes with I'm pretty sure the DVD release, or sorry, vinyl release comes with a DVD and a CD.
Yeah.
So like there's some good stuff in there, but definitely some good stuff.
Cool. I'll check it out. Yeah, it's a total blind spot for me is his solo work.
Yeah, it's cool. And so like it's not by inspiration, but like that's kind of what I was getting from. But so you're kind of releasing a lot. Like we kind of discussed. What is that process like? Like once you finish an album, like how much are you living with it? I guess tour wise, or anything like that before moving on to okay, let me work on the next thing.
Well, I don't really tour. Like this record is going to be the second one that I do like some shows out of town around, which is fun, but just like having a full-time job makes it hard, and I don't really look into it that much, but it sounds fun to tour. So it kind of just lets me like constantly write and think of music ideas and stuff. Like I think I heard John Darnielle from the Mountain Goats say it once, where he's like, putting out an album every year isn't hard. Like writing 12 songs a year is just like a song a month. Like any songwriter should be able to do that. And
Yeah.
like I find that I kind of agree with that sentiment. I mean, it's different for everyone, but for me, like pretty much every year I've like had enough songs to like put a record out, and it's not like I'm, no one has like a gun to my head saying
Yeah.
like make a Bird Calls album. So I just sort of do it because I like it and it's fun, and I feel like I'm getting better every time. So it's exciting. But basically, there's like two different ways I make records. Where like one is like melody trail, where it's like a concerted burst of time where I'm just like writing a bunch of songs, and then all those songs become the record. And then there's ones like Take Leave, where I give myself like the whole year basically to write, and I throw songs away, and I like go down weird tangents writing. Um, and that was like what happened this time. So I'm like, I don't have a ton of ideas for the next record yet, just because that was such like a protracted period, but I've got like a couple new ones I'm excited about. But yeah, like the other thing with making a lot of records is like I like them more the more I make, and I feel more satisfied with them. So there used to be a thing where I would make a record and it would feel like I like beat a level on a video game, and so I would want to keep writing and see where it goes. And this time I'm mostly like Take Leave kind of still feels like what I have to say. Like they still feel like my new songs, kind of.
That's awesome. Have you gone back and heard like a song and been like, oh, I forgot all about that one. Like
All the time.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great.
And it's so funny, like how I'll be proud of something that I was really self-conscious about, or that I thought was like really goofy or something. It's nice. I mean, but then there's other stuff I listen to and I'm like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
But that's rarer these days.
Yeah, going back and listening to songs or going back and rereading things that I've written and stuff like that and going like, man, I used to be good. Why can't I do that now? But knowing that at that time I was doing the same exact thing, like, why
Yeah.
can't I do that now? It's really funny, like how much is just like my own brain fucking trying to sabotage me.
Yeah, I had this therapist who a while ago, and I was talking about how I was really like dreading a piece I wrote being published. I was like there's so much I hate about it, and he was like, "Do you ever like read something you wrote and look for things you love in it versus things you hate?" And I was like, "No." like like what am I, like a crazy person who does that? So, but maybe it's good advice.
Yeah, that's great. You got 3 shows, I think I saw around the release of Take Leave, including one here in Philly on the 30th at Young American, which I only just found out existed through learning that you were playing there.
Nice.
And now I'm
Yeah.
like, now I want to go check this place out because it looks like they've got an awesome thing going on there. How did you put this kind of 3-show thing together?
I sort of left it to my friend Dan, who runs the label Ruination and also makes great music as Adeline Hotel. He's like a road warrior. He's always touring and playing shows. And I mean, he puts a lot of work into like finding cool places for quiet music and like building relationships with the venues. But I think Young American we got to through Kristen Dalen. Do you know her?
Name sounds really familiar.
She's a great musician who lives in Mount Airy. But I think that was through Chris that we got that one.
Oh, it's cool. What does a release look like for you, promotion wise? Or are you already mentally onto the next one? So I'll just let I'll let the other people who like doing that stuff handle that. Or
Well, I'll tell you, no one likes doing that
Well, that's
stuff,
true.
the posting and the promotion. But no, I'm pretty involved and invested in it this time. I'm really proud of this record, and I want to give it like a fair shake in the attention economy, which is weird, because I'm also like on the other end writing about other people's records. But I'm like doing music videos this time, and like doing podcasts with people. But yeah, I don't know. There's like the David Berman line where he's like, when you're seller and commodity, you have to sell yourself immodestly. So that's sort of the mantra right now. But it's also like I'm trying to make it so that I don't feel like I'm like pushing too hard. Like no one likes that. And
Yeah.
also, it sounds awful to turn your art into a thing you're like trying to quantify. Like, I want to come away from it still liking the record, you know? So
Yeah.
that's the other thing I'm thinking about simultaneously.
It's really funny because you kind of touched upon it with saying no one likes it. I talked to somebody about this. I can't even remember who it was, but I was like, we all agree that this sucks. So why are we doing it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why did we decide to play this game that they set up? Like, it's so weird.
I mean, there are ways to have fun with it. Like me and my friend Winston, we did like these like comedy videos, basically like satirizing like a bad interview. Like just because like everyone knows how it feels and stuff, and you just like being on Instagram all day, you just see like all these like influencers doing content like where they're just like clueless. But you know, like I'm trying to make it more like an extension of how I actually feel about the art. Because like, yes, no one likes posting all the time, but people do like knowing when something's coming. Like, and you know, you never know which post about it will be someone's first time seeing it, and they'll be really grateful that they're alerted to like you playing in their town, or like you have a new song out that they can listen to like on their commute or something. Like I know I am. Like if you like someone, you never resent seeing them promoting cool stuff they're doing. You know, but we all imagine ourselves through the eyes of someone who's like really skeptical and like embarrassed for us or something. And maybe that person doesn't really exist, or they're not worth considering.
I've had for sure. I've had a long running issue where one time, a very long time ago, a friend of mine was like, "Oh my God, I'm tired of seeing you post about one of the things I was promoting." And like ever since then, and this is like going on 20 years now, something like that. And now I'm just like, I can't post this. I already posted about it. Like, like I have that mental block.
Yeah.
I'll even tell you what the thing was that I posted about, because I don't know that I've talked about it on this show or not, but I was in the running to be on the premiere season of I Want to Be Paris Hilton's Best Friend, her Paris BFF show for MTV. And so like they had like an online, they were bringing somebody, it was like one cast member was going to come from the online thing. And I was like in the top 10 for like 5-6 weeks or something like that.
You would be great at that. I would have voted for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought so too. They don't know. Well, here's the worst part of this entire story is I missed my phone interview, and then I like emailed them and I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that it was you calling. Can you call back? And they were like, no, like
My
you
God.
missed it. And I was like,
That's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I could have been Paris's best friend, but speaking of podcasts, though, Late Era, is still going on, or?
Yeah, we recorded an episode earlier this year that is intended to be the first episode of a new season. So keep your ears peeled, because I really want to do more. It was so fun doing that podcast, and I feel like in the time since we stopped doing it, more people have told me they liked it than when it was actually on the air. So I compare us to like the like big star of podcasts or something like that, where like we did it and it felt like it was just like the three of us in a room, and then suddenly everyone's like telling me that they loved it. So I hope there's more soon.
Yeah, totally. I love the concept. It's absolutely incredible. Any albums that you didn't touch on that you're hoping to get to at some point?
Oh, so many. Like we really just scratched the surface. I feel like we could do a whole season that's just on albums from this year. Like the Madonna album was awesome.
It really was, wasn't it?
Yeah, we could talk about the Rolling Stones record. Like there's just so much. Like the Paul McCartney record, like Carly Simon just put out a record. Like there's so many late era albums by artists we haven't talked about. So I guess we did Paul McCartney, but he's due for another.
Yeah. He keeps going, so he's just going to continue to give you late era McCartney. It's funny you mentioned Carly Simon. I was trying to get her on the show mainly just because my mom, who's no longer here, but my mom was obsessed with the live version of Coming Around Again.
With the itsy bitsy spider at the end.
And like would listen to it on repeat. And I just kind of, I don't know, like whenever something like that comes up, I always like want to indulge in it. Like my dad was a huge Preston and Steve fan. So like when I got Preston on this show, like literally was all just so I could get to the end of the episode and tell him how important he was to my dad. Like, those kind of things. But and also because talking to Preston was fucking cool as shit. But
yeah. Carly Simon's one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
And so underrated.
And then the shop talk stuff. Like as a former Sam Goody guy, I love it. Like that's a cool concept. Where did that come from?
Thanks. That was like day one working at Pitchfork. I wanted to do that because, for one thing, I like video content. Like I think it's cool, and I watch it. So I was like, I always thought Pitchfork should have more stuff like that. And my elevator pitch was like Guy Fieri, but record stores, where it's just like unpretentious, welcoming, like going to the record stores I actually go to, saying why I like them. And we did it. Like we hit a lot of the ones I really love, and there's still more to do. But I think the vision now is like, I just did one with the guys from American football. That was really fun. So I think we want to do more like that. That's like record shopping with cool musicians and bands and stuff. Which sounds fun to me.
Yeah, I used to live in Ambler, and they have the Ambler Theater there, and they show like a lot of like old repertory stuff on the weekends and whatnot. And I had this idea that I wanted to start a podcast where I would just invite a guest to come watch a movie with me, and then we would talk about it afterwards.
That's awesome.
And mostly like musicians and stuff like that. But I never got it off the ground because I guess producing 3 podcasts is enough for one person at this time.
It's also like a huge time crunch because that someone would have to like block off like however many hours to watch a movie.
Yeah,
and then
talk
to
about
regroup.
it.
Yeah, but that is like anytime I go see a movie, I love, like, I feel like I always have so much I want to say. So,
yeah, it's like the diner trip afterwards, like after a really good movie where you're just trying to break it all down. That's like what I was going for, but maybe in another life.
Yeah, well, if you ever do it and you need a co-host, I'd be happy to.
I will definitely keep that in mind. So Take Leave comes out on the 27th. Is that
28th.
Right? 28th. Yeah. Okay. I knew it was that weekend. And you've got those 3 shows going. Are you doing any more singles before? Like, because you've been waterfalling a little. Are you doing any more?
Yeah. There's going to be one more next week, which I don't know when this pod's coming out, but the week of the release, I'm putting out a song called Ethan Frome. And there's going to be like a really fun video that we shot a while ago that's going to come out with it that I'm excited for people to see.
Oh, that's awesome. Physical? Are you doing any physical?
Yeah, we're doing CDs and they look really sick. My friend who lives in Japan was just in town and he did the graphic design for it. And so I got to give him a copy, but he did a really great job. I sent him like YouTube Pop and YouTube All That You Can't Leave Behind were my references. I was like, I want it to look like this. And he totally nailed it.
That's awesome. I rabbit holed yesterday on old Henry Rollins appearances, and I just watched the clips of him just decimating U2.
Fuck that!
I got to tell you, I can listen to Henry Rollins rant about anything, whether I agree with him or not. Like it's just the way that he is so passionately into whatever he is digging into.
No, he's awesome. I feel like U2 gets ragged on too much. I feel like I'd be more interested in watching Henry Rollins defend them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Did you hear this whole thing that him and Ian MacKaye are doing with the Cramps catalog? Like they're like they're now like the overseers of. They've been tapped to be the overseers of the Cramps and Cramps catalog, and they found like an old live recording that they worked on remastering, and they're putting out, I think, before the end of the year.
Whoa.
But like and he was like, if this is all my career was, I'd be in seventh heaven. Like so like that's another thing. Like when I see somebody who's really passionate about what they're doing, that's kind of what birthed this show. Like I just like talking to people about their passions, and a lot of it's music, a lot of it's movies and stuff like that. But like when someone's really into something, like it just it inspires me.
No, he's like the guy for that, I feel like, in music. When I was a kid, there was a record store in West Reading called Vertigo, and she had like a signed Henry Rollins thing because I guess like he bought a record from her like online, and then like when she realized who it was, she was like, "Can you like send like an autograph or something?" And he sent like a signed rare record to her, and it was like on the wall. And I always thought that was cool.
That is super cool. That is super cool. It's funny. I was just talking to somebody about autographs the other day. How like autographs are no longer a thing. It's like selfies are. Which is a weird paradigm shift for a guy who like me who has like. There's autograph shit all over this studio that you can't see, but like I always just thought autographs were cool. Like, hey,
I think they are too.
This.
I feel like selfies came into favor because you could like fake an autograph, but you couldn't forge a selfie. But now you can with AI. So I wonder what will be next.
It's a good idea. Maybe I'll make a Henry Rollins Nate photo or something. At this time, you want to go through the Jauntlet. These are the questions that I like to put every guest through. It starts with the one-hit wonders, and this is in segment name only. I've had so many people go, "These guys aren't one-hit wonders," and I go, "No, I get it. It's just I thought I was being cute, and now I have to explain it every time." But it starts with Billy Joel or Elton John. Who do you prefer?
That's an easy one for me, and it's Billy Joel.
Yeah. The Bruce of it all. I feel like Billy kind of operates in kind of like a left hand to Bruce's right for like a certain age in this kind of tri-state area.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely like held in the same breath. Where it's like when I was a kid, it was like Bruce and Billy Joel were probably my two favorite artists just because I loved Bruce Springsteen. My parents were like, "Oh, then you should listen to Billy Joel." So they were like the first two artists I really became familiar with. And it's like I got older and Billy Joel maybe didn't have the same depth Bruce did. Like he doesn't have his Nebraska. He also wasn't making records, so it was less easy to stay excited. And then like you get into music criticism and you see what these people were saying about him, and people were just brutalizing like pouring his like heart into these songs, and people just like making fun of one record got worse reviews than the next. But then I like had like a bit of a later thing where I was like, you know what, I know like every Billy Joel record like the back of my hand because I was just like listening to them so much at such a formative age, and I think a lot of them are like really good. And like a record like The Nylon Curtain is so weird, and so like it's almost like sophistopop at times. Like the compositions and the production is so intricate. So I think Billy Joel is really underrated. I never really had a moment with Elton John or his catalog, but I do like that song and it's like a late era thing I wanted to do because I love I Want Love, the song that had Robert Downey Jr. in the video.
Songs from the West Coast. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Elton John album, and I know people think that's crazy, but it's fucking great, right? Like,
yeah, I listened to the whole thing because that song and This Train Don't Stop Here Anymore.
Yes,
beautiful. The Boy with the Red Shoes is on that record.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. That is so cool. My Billy Joel factoid, maybe you know or maybe you don't. The album River of Dreams and the song River of Dreams. The bass on that played by Chuck Treece from McRad.
That I did not know.
Yeah,
that is a good fact.
It's wild, right? Yeah, it's pretty crazy. The next one is Debbie Harry or Joan Jett.
I'm going with Debbie Harry for that one.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Aretha Franklin or Tina Turner.
Aretha Franklin.
Cool. Nirvana or Pearl Jam?
This one I saw in advance, and I had a moment with Nirvana earlier this year where I listened to Nevermind for like the first time as an adult, and I was like completely blown away by it. Where I'm just like, this is an incredible pop album. Like the choruses are so good, but I have to say Pearl Jam because I've just spent more time with their music. A really formative Hanukkah gift for me was the album they put out in like 2002. That's called Riot Act.
Yeah.
And it was like a weirdly important record to me because like the like CDs I would get for Hanukkah, I always ended up spending so much time with because it was like winter and I wasn't in school because it'd be like holiday break, and so I would just like read the lyrics and listen really loud in my room. And that album is really raw and really weird and has like songs that are like meditation songs, like really almost like ambient stuff. But Pearl Jam, I've like probably listened to every album of theirs. Whereas like Nirvana, I don't know, like, I mean, they only have like 3 records,
Yeah,
but
right.
like,
Yeah.
I haven't spent a ton of time with it. But I mean, Kurt Cobain's obviously like a generational songwriter, so I'm not saying this to disparage him.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it's funny you mentioned listening to Nevermind recently, because I went back and listened to Bleach recently, and I'm just like, there's a fury in the rawness of that album that I feel like I don't want to say they lost it, because it feels like a conscious effort to move from it. But that's the kind of stuff that I really like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's like the stuff they did that just like, I feel like every other band at the time was like, well, back to square one. Like these guys are like completely eating our lunch. But with Pearl Jam also, like, I think they resonated with me when I was like getting into music because they were sort of like the classic rock grunge band. Like, like Nirvana was like kind of touching on punk and metal and the Melvins and stuff like that. But Pearl Jam was like making a record with like Neil Young, and like, you know, I love that record, Mirror Ball. And so and you know, like citing Bruce as an influence. So I feel like personally Pearl Jam is probably just more my speed.
Yeah, dig it. The big cliche, oh no, not yet. Janis Joplin or Stevie Nicks?
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, same. Now the big cliche, Beatles or the Stones?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this year because I actually just got like a really nice vinyl copy of Rubber Soul immediately before they announced the reissue. Like I had no idea that was coming. And I've been like pretty into Rubber Soul lately and just like listening to it as if for the first time. Like that's how like excited I am by it. But I listen to the Stones like all the time. I really love the Rolling Stones, and I think about them when I'm making records. And I have like opinions about their records from like the 80s and stuff, whereas I don't really for like the Beatles solo stuff. So I got to go with the Stones for that one.
Good answer. I'm right there with you. With you. The last of the one-hit wonders, Bohemian Rhapsody or Stairway to Heaven?
This is a tough one because like I don't love either song, and both were like formative for me. Like I think Queen's awesome, but and they were also like a big band when I was like first getting into music. I think I'm gonna go with Stairway to Heaven.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I probably have had more fun listening to Led Zeppelin in recent years than I have listening to Queen, and I sort of associate Bohemian Rhapsody with like karaoke and stuff, which is kind of loathsome to me, whereas like Led Zeppelin, those records still kind of sound otherworldly to me. Even that song, I don't know, there's like, it still holds like some majesty for me, whereas like maybe Bohemian Rhapsody doesn't.
Yeah, I get it.
It's been a while since I like put it on the hi-fi, so maybe I should.
Yeah. Always a good time to revisit. There's never a bad time.
I get the sense Bohemian Rhapsody
is my answer,
yeah.
But there is no wrong answer to these. Like it's like, oh, I like the awesome thing other than the other awesome thing, you know, like
totally.
The back half of this is the top 10 countdown. In this, of course, you probably know this, but we use Jawn to be anything you want. It doesn't have to be music. It starts with the first Jawn. What was the first thing you were obsessed with when you were a kid?
Well, I mean, Bruce was like my first like enduring obsession. But before that, I was like testing out. Like I was like a lot of kids. I was really into dinosaurs. Like I was like obsessed with like all the different types. And then it was basketball teams. Like I knew like every team's mascot and logo and stuff. But Bruce is like my first and most like
your truest
central. Yeah. I still feel like the little kid who like only actually wants to talk about Bruce Springsteen. Yeah,
that's cool. Number 2, what's your current Jawn? What are you into right now?
Right now, My current Jawn is this book by Mark Leidner that's called Elegy for Pangea. He's a poet, and I love his writing so much. I think he's like maybe like my favorite artist in like any art form right now. He's so good, and his writing is so funny. And anytime he puts out a book of poems, there's only a second, but I just like reread them all over and over again.
Yeah.
Like I just got this in the mail last week, and I've just been really obsessed with it.
It's awesome. That's cool. I got to check it out. Number 3, what was your first live show you saw?
I think like it was actually U2 on the Elevation tour in 2000, at the First Union Center in Philly.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was like watching aliens landing. It was just, I'd never seen anything like it. It was really was like they were from like another planet with like the sunglasses and everything.
That's awesome.
It was just, yeah, so cool.
That is cool. Number 4, what was the last concert you saw?
Last concert I saw, it was my friend Izzy Oren Brown, who I put a split out with last year. She put out a record recently and did a record release show, and she was amazing. It was great.
Awesome.
Yeah. And she's also playing my release show, so that's a good plug.
There it is. There. I like it. Number 5, what was your favorite concert? Your favorite show you ever been to?
It's an easy one. It was the show where Bruce Springsteen brought me up on stage with him.
Holy shit. Really?
Yeah. Yeah. There can be no other answer.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like Eric Bazillion from the Hooters was on here, and his first concert was the Beatles. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Where did he see them?
I think it's somewhere in Atlanta, maybe.
Because he's 60s. From Philly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like the craziest. How do you see any other live show after that? You know, like
yeah,
I did it. Number 6, who have you never seen live that you wish you could have? They can be living or dead.
You know what? This is a really sad answer, but this band, the Trash Can Sinatras from Scotland, who I adore, they just put out a new record. It was their first in 10 years, and I was really excited because I got into them during like the 10 years that they weren't putting out records. So I was like, this will finally be my chance to see them. And then John Douglas died, who was like their guitarist and one of the vocalists, and it was really shocking and tragic because the record was really good. And there was like so much enthusiasm around it, but it was just really sudden. So I mean, I'm sure they'll tour again, maybe. But that is one that I would have loved to see them while he was in the band, because he sings a lot of my favorite songs. So I was really sad to see that.
That's a bummer. That is a total bummer. Number 7, what's an unappreciated Jawn? Something you wish more people paid attention to?
Same answer. I feel like the Trash Can Sinatras should be like one of those bands that people talk about as just like high level songwriting that sounds like no one else. Really great records. No two records are the same, but they're also really consistent. The record I've Seen Everything especially is really important to me. Like to the extent that I've written songs just based on learning to play their songs on guitar and just like internalizing like their weird chord changes and harmonics and stuff. They're one of the greats to me.
It's tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Number 8, kind of a garbage question. What's your favorite album?
My favorite album, I mean, the like answer I always give for this is Tunnel of Love by Bruce Springsteen. I feel like it's like the secret masterpiece of his catalog. The fact that that's what he put out after Born in the USA, the level of like personal revelation he's willing to disclose to like his biggest audience yet. I love the sound of it. I love the cover, like all of it. It's hugely important to me.
Great. No, it's incredible. Yeah. Number 9, name an artist whose output you'll consume anything they release. I think I know the answer.
I mean, obviously Bruce Springsteen, but another artist that's in that category for me, I'll leave it with Bruce Springsteen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it.
Yeah.
Number 10, again, can be anything you want it to be. Doesn't just have to be music.
Hold on. I go back to that last one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The other one I was going to say is the Mountain Goats, because John Darnielle puts out so much music, and there's always something that I learn from his records, and there's just so much momentum. Like, he always sounds stoked. He always sounds inspired. like it's really like a lesson in like following your muse and like keeping yourself engaged with the art you're making. Yeah, I think he's just like creating an incredible body of work.
For sure. Great answer. The last one, what's your favorite Jawn of all time?
My favorite Jawn of all time is me and my girlfriend's cat, Willow. Yeah.
That's a beautiful answer. I dig
Yeah.
it. I dig it.
It's sweet and funny, and always puts me in a good mood.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Take Leave comes out on the 28th, available on your Bandcamp. What's the Bandcamp address again?
Thebirdcalls.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to track you down on the socials, what's the best way to find you?
Sam Sadomsky on Instagram.
Awesome. Sam, thank you so much for doing this. I can't wait to hear the rest of Take Leave. Like the singles have been absolutely, feels like a level up. Like it feels like you've definitely kind of taken another step here. And I'm super excited that we got to have this chat.
Thanks, Nate. That means a lot. And thanks for having me on. And hopefully I'll see you at the show at Young American.
Many thanks again to Sam for chit-chatting with me on the show today. Take Leave is out this Friday, August 28th on Bandcamp at thebirdcalls.bandcamp.com, as well as streaming on all of the streaming services. And Sam will be in town here in Philly this Sunday, August 30th, at Young American Hard Cider and Tasting Room with Adeline Hotel. You can find details to that, as well as links to Sam's writing and all things Sam at www.samsadomsky.com. Links to all of those, of course, will always be in the show notes. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to the Yo, That's My Jawn podcast wherever you get your podcast from. And y'all, it's not too late to get yourself a super awesome Jawn Scout Merit Badge for Citizenship of the World just by rating and reviewing us. Don't forget to visit www.yothat'smyjawn.com for the link tree with links to articles, merchandise, all of the previous episodes of this podcast, guest appearances on other podcasts, and more. And while you're there, please be sure to sign up for our mailing list to get all of the updates delivered straight into your inbox. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YoThat'sMyJawn for updates and live streams. Follow us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Substack at Yo That's My Jawn, and search Yo That's My Jawn on YouTube to find the Yo That's My Jawn YouTube channel. Like and subscribe the heck out of that ish. We want to hear from you. Reach out and touch some Jawn. Sam today, Sam on the next episode. A different Sam. See how I tease this show? Like a professional. Blue skies. Until next time, everybody.
That's my Jawn!
Yo, That's My Jawn is a Lonely Monk production, written and produced by yours truly, Nate Runkle. Theme song by me under the moniker Nate 3.0 and featuring Sarah Tudson from Illuminati Hotties. Kinda. Special thanks to James Ferris, DX Ferris, Andrew Scott, Maggie Poulos, Dan Drago, Philip Reese, Natalie Runkle, the beautifully vibrant and wickedly stunning Katie Daubney, and my firstborn, heir to the Yo That's My Jawn empire, Henry Davis Daubney Runkle. If you or anyone has any ideas that you would like to share or any guests you would like to hear on the podcast, please feel free to reach out to us at yothat'smyjawn@gmail.com or hit us up on the socials at Yo That's My Jawn. Until next time, please be sure to displace the guilt and embrace the pleasure. Tilt your head back and shout to the world, Yo, that's my Jawn.
JWN